Hello, I'm Ryan F9 and today we crash test the iconic Shoei Neotec. $800 of pristine Japanese engineering. You better take a good look now because this helmet is going to be utterly destroyed in a few moments' time. As is only fair, however, we're going to test waterproofing before we poke any holes in this helmet. I have high hopes of staying dry today. The front-facing vents are all closable on the Neotec, and rather uncommonly, the rear exhaust slit is active too. Now, Shoei is known to make a pretty tight helmet, so I don't doubt that the face shield and its rubber seating is going to seal okay. My only real worry is this big panel gap on the chin bar. Now, water might get in there, but time will tell. So, the Neotec handled SeaWorld beautifully. As you can tell, I'm still totally dry. No water came through the panel gap, through the vents, nothing. So, we get a full pass for waterproofing. Next is visor and puncture strength, which means I'm getting deployed to Rambo's corner. All right, 500 feet per second with pointed penetrating pellets. We tried this with some BBs already, and we achieved precisely dicks. So, we're gonna try some different ammunition. We went for something a little pointier. It's the equivalent of getting hit with a sharp rock at about 550 kilometers an hour. Helmets are over-engineered. The Shoei has its AAM shell around back to protect itself. That's fiberglass mixed with some organic fibers for elasticity. It's not going to be as brittle as something like a carbon fiber, maybe a thermoplastic, so I'm not really sure if we're going to get through it. The face shield in front, who knows? Same with the drop-down sun visor. We'll have to find out when we shoot it. We'll put 5 shots into each and count how many went through. So I'll try to keep hitting that spot. Probably just a little bit above it, because I think I'll have a better chance of getting through up there, but I haven't got through yet. Helmet visors are very strong. All right, let's go have a look. So the Shoei made our pellet gun look stupid because it survived absolutely everything we threw at it. But we noticed that when we hit the same spot like 2 or 3 times in a row, we almost gotten through it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna move the helmet up point blank and try to hit the exact same spot several times. However many pellets it takes to get through, that's gonna be our metric test. So we'll do that here. Same for the back and same for the sun visor. Whoa, we got it in better. All right, gotta take a look. So, we got it stuck in there. Not sure if it went right the way through or not. We'll look under there. Ooh, looks like I can just see the tip of it coming through the bottom. Well, that went through. Let's go have a look. That's gonna be a 4-shot shield. Yeah, I think probably the red part just came off, right? Yeah, here it is. That's the casing separated from the bullet because the bullet actually went straight through. Yep. That would hurt your eye, forehead, somewhere in there. Anyway, that's gonna be a 4-shot shield, so that's passing grade. Anything 3 and above is gonna be a pass. I don't think we're through yet. It's pretty impressive actually for how much thinner it is. We might want to take a look. I think we're almost through it. We're not through yet. Take a look. I think that's actually a puncture. Yes, we've gone right through on the 4th shot. It's actually really impressive that this, which is much thinner than the face shield, took the same amount of shots. I think because it's not anchored on the bottom, there's a lot more flex to it, and that actually lets it bounce the BBs off a little bit easier. That was amazing. Yeah, 4 is definitely a passing grade for the face shield. I think we're almost through on 1 shot. We might be through. You can see where the fibers have come apart there. But I don't think we're actually into the EPS foam at all, and there's not a bullet lodged in there. I'll hit it again. See a bullet in there. So you can see the bullet there. It's kind of wedged in. Now, the funny thing about this is the bullet's actually turned and is pointing downwards. It's quite impressive, the elasticity of this shell, to actually be able to just push the bullet in a different direction rather than cracking entirely. Damage report. The Shoei survived our shitstorm pretty darn well. The face shield failed at 4 shots. The sun shield, rather surprisingly, also failed at 4. And then the shell around back failed at 3. Typically, anything that gets a passing grade out of 5 tends to be above average. So we're passing here, we're passing here. That gives us good grades for visor strength and for puncture strength. Now, impact protection and abrasion resistance. Take me out to the ball game. Batters up. So we actually didn't break the visor or the chin bar mechanism, which is absolutely impressive on Shoei's part, which is good. But, yeah, more than 50 Gs, so potentially lethal here for Brian F9. Not really surprising. You know, Sharp gave it pretty bad impact protection on the sides as well. I think Shoei put less EPS foam to make it slim on either side, and that's probably why we killed them. It's supposed to be a little bit better on top though, so we'll see. Bombs away. So we got no cracking on the top head at all, which is amazing. Normally fiberglass will crackle rather than crack anyway, which disperses impact better, but this didn't even do any damage. It glanced the blow right off, which is great. And he's alive, which is awesome. I'm sure Brian is very excited about that. Now I don't have any cheeky saying for abrasion resistance, so I'm just gonna grind it out. There we go. That's EPS foam there. All right, so it took 1 minute and 38 seconds to get through to this EPS foam here. You can see we've just gone through the fiberglass and got right into the impact padding there. So that's full penetration in 1 minute 38. It's really good. I mean, obviously you'd have to be doing like 1 billion kilometers an hour to actually slide for 1 minute and 38 seconds. What we find is that anything over 1 minute tends to be pretty good. So this is gonna be a passing grade for abrasion resistance. We got a failing grade for side impact protection, however, because it triggered that 50G sticker. We did pass on the top though. I was kind of hoping it would, because this Shoei is a very chunky 1,780 grams for a size medium, and for a fancy fiberglass and organic fiber shelled helmet, that's really heavy. You know, Shoei put a lot of padding into this helmet, more than they even needed to pass its DOT sticker. I'm glad it actually paid out for him on top. Next, we are going to test the Achilles heel of any modular helmet though. This flip-up mechanism is a literal weak link. I don't think it's gonna handle Golf Town very well. So wow, that was a failure. I mean, I've hit a couple helmets by now. None of them have exploded quite to the extent that this one did. I mean, the EPS foam is absolutely everywhere, bits sort of all over. The chin bar itself has actually come free of its mounting on this side. Busted the visor. It'll still kind of latch closed, but no, I mean, the thing is basically destroyed. Again, you know, every sort of chin bar fails to some extent, but this is a lot more than most of the helmets that we've tested. So shame, Shoei didn't pass the chin bar test. Next, we're gonna do heat resistance, and I want you to pay attention because our testing method is very scientific. Bird, baby, bird. Woo! Oh yeah. Now, how to use your helmet properly. I'm pretty sure this is not what Shoei had in mind, but we'll go with that. That is beautiful. Look at that. That is gorgeous. I'm sure these vents won't last very long. Oh, yeah, now we're getting through the plastic there. Yeah, it's melting a little bit. This is where we got through the fiberglass earlier. Oh yeah, see the foam will go. Oh, look at that. It's interesting, it'll burn a hell of a lot from the inside. It's hard to actually get there, but once you get through the shell, that really goes. And we're gonna be into the inside of this helmet in no time here. That is beautiful. Yeah, it's starting to melt. You can see it bubbling a little bit. There we go. Now we're through the visor there. There we go. There's some ventilation for you. Oh. Now, here in the scientific community, we would say that the Neotec was less of a pain in the ass to light on fire than some of the other helmets we've tested. So I'm gonna say that it has a poor heat resistance. You're going to ask what the hell that has to do with motorcycle safety, and I'm gonna ignore the question by moving on to FortNine's 9th test, build quality. Basically, we ask ourselves what still works on here, and rather remarkably, the chin bar mechanism, which locks down there, and the face shield quick release still works, which is really highly impressive. This vent as well here Still slides, operates the way it should despite having been burned directly. This vent around the back here though is fused shut, and of course the insides are totally gutted since I burned the owner's manual and chucked it in there and all that jazz. But really very impressive Shoei. The fact that this Neotec with its basic mechanism, which is opening the chin bar and the visor and that stuff, the fact that that still works, high marks. I'm very impressed. So that's going to give a passing grade for build quality there. Tallying it up now, we have 1, 2, and 3 failures out of 9, which is going to give us an overall grade, let's go in black, of 6 out of 9, which is going to be 66.6666666% to all you mathletes out there, meaning that the Neotec would have passed grade 6 if it were a 6th grader, and that is useful consumer advice. Nah, of course it's not, and to be honest, truth be told, we don't really know if 66% is that good yet. It might be crap. We haven't really tested enough buckets to know. But for now, this Shoei Neotec, $800 of beautifully destroyed Japanese engineering, it gets to hold the bar until next week's episode. Good night, everyone.